Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Dappz Live. I am your host, Dappz, with the all and mighty, powerful Ethan. Here, we are going to talk about my idol, Pete Schrager, on ESPN. Pete Schrager, ESPN analyst, had a wild take on tomorrow's game that made me want to vomit. I want you guys to see what he said about the Green Bay Packers and what they're about to do to the rising superstar, Jaden Daniels.
Are you higher now on the Packers or more down on the Lions after what you saw this week?
I'm certainly down on the Lions. And I do think there's great reason for concern with the way that offense looked without Ben Johnson. But I want to give it a week before we just say that they're awful because of how good the Packers defense was. Now, we've seen the 2000 Ravens and we've seen the 76 Steelers. I'm not putting them in that conversation. But what they did to the Lions on Sunday was maybe the greatest performance by any one unit all last week. And that includes the Bills offense. Facts. 9 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks. And of course, Micah Parsons gets the headlines, 29 snaps. I look at guys who have been considered busts the last few years in the draft. Quay Walker, unblockable. Rashawn Gary, unblockable. Lucas Van Ness, unblockable. They play Washington tomorrow night, Molly. And I know we're looking at this as like this battle of the Titans. Like, don't be shocked if they come out there and they shut down Jaden Daniels. That is how good this Packers defense is. And I believe Jeff Hafley is operating at such a level right now that this might be the story of the NFC. I don't think it's overreacting. I don't think it's hyperbole. I think that this defense is so good and so loaded at every single position with all this collection of first-round talent that we could be looking at a lot of teams saying, what's wrong with the offense? No. Packers defense is that good.
Are you?
Okay, I absolutely hate this take. It's horrible. I mean, I'm going to throw this up probably every week for the rest of the season. Let's just break this down real quick. I just brought up Pro Football Focus. This article was written on July 25th. We're talking 2 months ago. The Packers, before the Micah Parsons trade, were ranked the 24th best defensive line. Micah Parsons comes to town. There's no chance that Micah Parsons alone catapults you into the top 10. All right? The 24th, 24 out of 32. That's their D-line. Let's move over to their linebackers. Pro Football Focus, 18th best. And now this idiot hog, Peter Schrager, look at his hog face. Idiot is saying that he just compared them to the Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl team and the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s Super Bowl team after 1 week. This is the most insane take. This makes my blood boil. I'm not supposed to look red on this screen. I'm about to get redder. There is no chance you are going to come out here. By the way, simultaneously, this guy says that the Lions, he's not ready to write the Lions off because the Packers are so good, but also he's saying the Packers are going to contain Jaden Daniels after they contained Jared Goff, the most non-mobile quarterback in the entire league. Ethan, I can't wait to hear your take, buddy.
I mean, I don't know who Peter Schrager is. I've never heard of this guy in my life, but he's right on most part. Like that defense, like a lot of people can just read the stats. If you watch the game, he really got they really shut the Lions down. The Lions aren't a bad team. It was the Packers defense that was getting to the quarterback every time. It was containing Gibbs. It was containing Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I know that PFF puts these grades on players, but PFF hasn't even watched them play together once. Like you said, Quay Walker, Luke Van Ness, Rashawn Gary, like that defensive line is generational at this point. So we'll see it. Week 1 might be an overreaction, but I have a strong feeling he's right. Jaden Daniels is going to get pickled up by this defense.
Let's just go through how being the 24th ranked best defensive line makes you the opposite of generational. You are not generational. You would have to be the number 1 ranked defense, right, first in this calendar year, and then you'd have to stack that number 1 ranked defense up against generational defenses. 24th, you got Micah Parsons. Congratulations. You beat the Lions with first-year offensive coordinator and a first-year defensive coordinator. This is not impressive. They're a division rival. Everybody plays within their division harder. The Packers and the Lions should split. The Vikings and the Packers should split. The only teams that shouldn't split are the Bears because they're so ass. All right, Caleb Williams, by the way, I was a Caleb Williams believer about 2 or 3 weeks ago, after watching his Monday night game, I don't think he's got it. I think his
good.
career is over.
He looked good. I liked
No,
it.
Trust me, he did
He had
not.
good movement. He had good throws. It was the defense. It was the offensive line's fault.
He has a horrible offensive line, that's for sure. But he can't see. He doesn't know how to read his routes. He's underthrowing the ball. Horrible quarterback. About to lose his job. He's about to be the next Anthony Richardson.
But you liked McCarthy? Like you liked the 1 for 2 in the first half? Was that
McCarthy?
better?
You know what McCarthy has? Heart. He has heart. Motivated, determined. Nothing brought that guy down. Comes out in the third quarter when they're down 2 touchdowns. You know what he says in the locker room? Or excuse me, in the huddle? You know what he says in the huddle? He says, "Where else would you rather be?" And just motivates the shit out of his whole team. All right? This kid's like 19 years old, 20 years old. By the way, he's never – here's a stat that's going to shut Ethan up. J.J. McCarthy has never lost a start. Not in high school, not in college, and now not in the NFL. Never lost a start.
Yeah, give that a week.
Well, get to that later. But we didn't cover it last week, but Peter Schrager also got into it with Ryan Clark, who I don't understand how he's still speaking given the hits that he's doled out on the Steelers, but this stoked a lot of controversy this week in the sports media. Let's roll this.
Is this though, and we shouldn't do this on TV, and so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh,
view.
Stop! That's no. CeeDee Lamb is.
Let me tell you why. I'm not saying.
I'm not looking at fantasy football, Ryan. I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players are saying one thing, and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well. And
Peter, what I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish for one.
Okay, go on.
It wasn't about you. It was going to be about me.
Okay.
As a player.
God, I hate Ryan Clark.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Clark is so
That guy
hateable.
sucks.
He's a race baiter. Everybody hates him. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense why ESPN keeps him on because he's so inflammatory. Listen, I don't like, as you can tell, I have no love for Pete Schrager. All right, but listen, that is the response of a cowardly, no substance response by Ryan Clark to say. I mean, listen, he would have to say that to every single female analyst in the entire world, right? Oh, well, you've never played a sport. And then females would not be able to comment on football or basketball or baseball. And we've seen what happened in the last 10 years. That is the opposite of what has happened. There have been more females in positions. I'm seeing more ESPN, SportsCenter, where there's 2 female leads or there's 4 hosts, 3 of them are female. So this is kind of the opposite of what has been happening and what Ryan Clark is cheering for. Horrible take by Ryan Clark. He knew it was a horrible take because he prefaced by saying, "Oh, this is going to be rude," or I don't mean to be rude. If you say, "I don't mean for this to come off rude," you are about to say something rude. All right. And listen, Ryan Clark, great safety, great Pittsburgh Steeler, but
Are we gonna really call him great? He was carried by Troy Polamalu. He was
he
one Pro
was
Bowl.
average.
He
You're
went
right. He wasn't
undrafted.
even great.
He was just lucky to be there.
Horrible takes. Don't like the guy's analysis. And he's saying, as a former player, you're a defensive player. You didn't play offense. You should listen. You want to get Terrell Owens to come in and talk about CeeDee Lamb. And hey, I am a wide receiver who made 8 Pro Bowls, and I'm going to tell you in these positions, how the game can affect you, why you drop the ball, et cetera, et cetera. Ryan Clark, I don't think Ryan Clark made a Pro Bowl. Not sure. Moving right along, I don't want the hatred for Ryan Clark to overtake this show. All right, let's get into the comments. If we could refresh this real quick. NFL says Jalen Carter ejection serves as suspension for spitting. Oh, my Lord. I mean, listen, what are you going to suspend the guy 2 games for spitting on Dak? I don't think that's right. Listen, they fined him $60K or whatever it was. He didn't play Monday Night Football, which I don't hate. I don't love. It was a bonehead move by Jalen Carter. If he spits at the ground, he plays in the game. I don't think he gets a fine. I don't think you're going to get a fine for spitting on the ground. So, guys, please let us know in the comments if you think that Jalen Carter should have been suspended. 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. That is the fastest ejection since 2005, by the way. I don't even know how you get ejected faster. You get ejected before the game? You fight on the kickoff, in the middle of the kickoff. You
On the
fight.
coin toss.
In the coin toss. Okay. So again, Ethan, do you think that Jalen Carter should be suspended longer? Do you think they got it right?
Yeah, they got it right. I mean, that's the biggest game of the year for him, like his opening game. He didn't get to play at all. He made an embarrass himself on TV. Hopefully he learns a lot. He's a young guy, but I feel like he should have learned this lesson a long time ago with the driving incident in Georgia. Like, this guy constantly makes mistakes. I don't know how much more punishment you can give a guy until he doesn't learn. And then next time, I mean, I expect a max penalty if he does some stupid shit again.
Yeah, he's got to chill out. I think that the one thing that he had was he wasn't in the NFL when that happened, right? It was pre-draft. This is kind of the first infraction I've seen from him since he's been drafted. I know he's a little bit of a dirty player, right? Like,
Yeah.
listen, a lot of defenders like this are, though. That's how you keep your aggression up and make big plays.
This is a reflection on the franchise and how they hold themselves. Like, a lot of these people on that team are just criminals and degenerates. Like, that security guard that they walk around with is just a goofball who, like...
Big Dom.
Yeah, Big Dom is a piece of shit. Like, that's the culture you want in your locker room. Like a mafia. Like, you have to have a security guard travel with your team because they can't behave. Like, just disgusting behavior by it's always Philly doing stupid shit like this. Like, come on.
Listen, I'm going to
Gross.
have to agree with Ethan. Philly has zero couth. They fight their own friends and family. They burn their own city down when they win, not when they lose.
Yeah.
So, Philly, I don't know if you're in the chat. Please let us know what you think about Ethan's take.
Or
And
don't.
also, if we have any Chiefs fans in the chat, I'd love to hear if you agree with Ethan's take. Let's move right along to the 49ers and how they are, again, they are screwed. Absolutely screwed. George Kittle just went on the IR. He's missing at least 4 games. Brock Purdy might not play. Their backup is Mac Jones. Brandon Ayuk started the season on the PUP list. Their kicker, Jake Booty, is booty. He can't make a 30-yard field goal. I mean, the Niners snuck away with a win. And the crazy thing is that they're playing the Saints this week, so I think they can still win even with Mac Jones, which is crazy because Mac Jones is so horrible. This reminds me of the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship game where Christian McCaffrey had to come and play quarterback. So we might see that again. Christian's going to get injured. They're not going to have any receivers. They're not going to have a tight end, and they don't have a quarterback. If you're in San Francisco right now, I mean, look at this. This guy comes out of nowhere, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft, brings the team to the Super Bowl, wins an NFC Championship, gets paid $1 gazillion. You gotta be happy for a Brock Purdy, but the Niners are in a dire situation. I don't know what's gonna happen. What do you think, Ethan?
I mean, the Niners are in this situation every year. It was just last year they're the most injured team in sports. They're gonna be fine. Like, they're gonna win some games surprisingly because they're just a good fundamental team. I think it does draw a cloud on their playoff hopes because if Brock Purdy's not there, they have no chance in the playoffs. If Kittle's hurt, like, Kittle's always hurt. That guy's made out of freaking glass. I mean, every year it's like Kittle's elite. Kittle's a top 3 tight end. Kittle never plays a full season. So let's just, not panic that the Niners are not going to be an elite team, but they're still going to be an average team.
And we're talking about Brock Purdy has a toe and a shoulder injury. Day-to-day, probably not playing this Sunday. This is definitely the game to not play, by the way. And listen, you could potentially get 2 weeks off to heal by not playing against the Saints and still be 2-0, which is crazy because if the Niners are 2-0 and Purdy comes back and he's okay, like, I'm not that worried. They have Christian, they have Pearsall, they have Jennings who's playing well. The Kittle loss sucks, but they also have McCaffrey and Brian Robinson. Like, you could run 2 RB sets and really have like a dynamic. You still got guys who can ball.
Yeah, and let's not overreact like Brock Purdy's the Messiah. Like, Mac Jones can step in and do an okay job. It's not too hard to be a Niners quarterback. When they run 60% of the time and they're 30% of that, they're just doing screens. So not too much.
And then we got Connor Sniper in the chat asking whether he should start Juwan Johnson on the Saints or Jake Ferguson. Listen, Juwan Johnson got targeted a ton. I really like the Johnson pickup, and I just think that the Saints are so bad. They're going to be playing from behind the whole game. Cowboys can't seem to catch balls. It looked like Jake Ferguson might have got concussed last game. I think he's playing. Listen, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Dallas. I think Dallas is going to play pretty well, but I do like that Johnson pickup if you have him available in your fantasy leagues. Back to J.J. McCarthy. Is there anywhere else you'd rather be? We just love to hear this. This is just like a great sports story. J.J. McCarthy bringing his team back from down 2 touchdowns. And it's not just that he brought the team back on Monday Night Football in his first game, but the fact that this guy threw a 75-yard pick six, which you would think would rattle any quarterback, especially a rookie quarterback playing in their first game, coming back from, a major leg injury, and J.J. McCarthy comes out and he's just having fun. He's a true baller. He loves football, and he's a winner because he's never lost. So I don't mean he's a winner in the sense that I believe he's a winner. I mean he's a winner in the sense that this guy has literally never lost a start in high school, college, or the NFL. But Ethan, do you think the Vikings are going to go 17-0?
No. No, Jay, and they're not even going to get a winning record by the way that kid plays. He's just like, let's just not overreact. I mean, the Bears gave him that game. He didn't do anything impressive. Like, he was throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson. We clearly know after all these years that anyone can do that job. So let's see him actually like orchestrate a drive or make it like a good pass over the middle or just go through his progressions.
He orchestrated multiple good drives and he threw a touchdown pass over the middle. So he's done those things that you're asking for, but go on.
I mean, when I was watching, I was not impressed. I was more impressed with Caleb Williams. We talked about this already. I think where everyone's just jumping the gun and it was just, people fell asleep for the first three quarters and then woke up in the fourth quarter and were like, oh my God, we have a good quarterback now.
Oh, so 36-2 in high school, 27-1 in college, 1-0
So he has
in
lost.
the NFL. I guess he has lost. So he's 50, 65, 66-3. I think that still qualifies you as a relative winner. I would say 66-3 is a decent average. Again, I don't know if that stat was taken because of maybe potential games that he didn't start. We'll have to look into that and bring that up and let Ethan know his record every week. Let's move on to Kevin O'Connell, though, coach of the Vikings. Do you think he's a top 3 coach in the league, Ethan?
What? Top 3 coach? The best thing about his coaching is his defensive coordinator. It's Brian Flores. Kevin O'Connell is a fine coach. There's a lot of good Sean McVay understudies all around the league. There's like a dime a dozen nowadays. I don't think he's a top 10 coach. I think Brian Flores leads that team, and that offense was terrible. What do they have? Like 20 points? What are we celebrating?
I think what I would ask you to maybe slightly consider is that he took a team with Sam Darnold last year to 14 wins, which is absolutely disgusting. And if he wins double-digit games this year, he's now taken 2 separate quarterbacks who have no business winning 10 games.
Dude,
would that change your mind, I guess?
This is not an offensive team. This is a defensive team. This is Brian Flores doing this. And you don't need a quarterback anymore. Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is. As long as the rest of your team is good, that's all that matters.
So, Ethan, he's not the defensive coach or the offensive coach. He's the coach, right? So what I'm asking you is, how many wins would Kevin O'Connell have to get to qualify him to you as a top 3? Does he have to win 12 games?
He wins 12 games and puts up a top 10 offense. I will admit that he's pretty good.
If he won 12 games and they had a top 10 defense, but they were 15th ranked offense,
yes.
You're saying Kevin O'Connell is not that dude.
I think the Vikings were a top 5 defense last year. And they were a top, probably 15 to 18 offense.
So he's got to break the top 10.
I just why are we jumping the gun here? Like, he's just had one game that was really good. Last year, they got knocked out first round in the playoffs. There was nothing special. And listen, I don't want to shit on him because he's not a bad coach. He's probably a pretty solid coach.
I would argue you've already shitted on him, but go ahead.
I just feel like I don't want to start praising him as like our best coach in the league when he really hasn't proved anything to me.
Fair.
I mean, we have Andy Reid in this league. Andy Reid's 30 times a coach.
Let's move on to Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs line has opened, and I think you and I are both happy about that. Eagles versus Chiefs. Super Bowl rematch is happening Sunday at Arrowhead. You got to love this, Ethan. I know we did our Chiefs rundown last week. Did you have this as – I know you nailed the first game. You said that they were going to lose, 0-1. Did you say that they were going to win this game or lose this game?
I think I had it as a win only because –
you did have it as a win, right?
I think I had it as a win only because I would never admit that the Eagles could win. But this is a regular season game again. This is their Super Bowl. I don't care. This game doesn't matter to us. Only it matters to us is making the playoffs, getting to the Super Bowl, and going 6 for 7 straight Super Bowls. Okay. That's what matters to us.
The line is -1.5. The Eagles are the favorites in your stadium, and I think this is only the second time this has happened in Mahomes' career. So do you think the line is right? Is it wrong? What do you think the line should be? Where are you at here?
That's a fair line. I mean, they're 1-0. We're 0-1. I mean, my favorite bet on this game would probably take the under. I mean, it's going to be a very competitive game, not a lot of scoring, especially because Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of the Eagles. So I just, I think the line's fine. It could be a pick 'em. That would be my line.
It's just weird because I have this recollection of Jalen Hurts throwing like the longest throw that I've ever seen in NFL history in the Super Bowl for a touchdown. Do you not remember that?
No, I don't. I don't know what you're referring to.
I could have scored.
It's 40 yards, the longest throw in Super Bowl history.
I think that they
That's
scored
crazy.
like 40 points in the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying I'm going to bet the over, but listen, we'll see what happens. The second time in his career, like I said, that Mahomes has been a home dog. And moving right along, we talk a lot of football here, but we got to touch on some baseball. Kyle Schwarber. You think Kyle Schwarber might steal this MVP from Ohtani?
No, not at all. Not when he's batting 242. I mean, I love Kyle Schwarber. He's a Hoosier. He's a good baseball player. Not even a Hall of Famer yet, but he could be borderline if he hits the 500 home run mark. He's the heart and soul of Philly, but he's not even the best player on Philly. So I don't even think he can win an MVP.
He might not even be the third best player on
Yeah,
Philly.
exactly.
Well, listen, I mean, he's the first player this season to get to 50 home runs, and of course, he had to do it against my New York Mets, who, by the way, are probably going to miss the playoffs. It's an absolute joke. The Phillies are rolling 9 games ahead in the East, so that race is over. There's no chance the Mets can win the division. They can only get a wild card. We've been tagging Philly all season, but we just lost 2 in a row to them. I'm not happy. Brewers, Dodgers, Padres, all ahead of us. I think, Ethan, give me the teams that you think are poised for a deep run in October.
I really love the Milwaukee Brewers because they're young and have nothing to lose. A lot of the time when you see teams make good runs, it's these guys that are just, you didn't count on to be there. Like they were just playing with house money. So I like the Brewers, not only this year, but several years down the line with Jesus Vade and Misarowski and Churio and Luis Urias and all these guys. On the flip side, I've been betting Seattle Mariners Super Bowl for World Series for 4 years now. That pitching staff is elite. If those bats start working, Big Dumper, I mean, that guy should be in the MVP voting. If Big Dumper loses to Aaron Judge and something's wrong, he's probably the best catching performance we've seen in 20 years.
Well, I'll tell you that currently, as I stand here with you, Ethan, Shohei Ohtani is minus 25,000 to win the MVP.
Yeah, I know.
So it's safe to say no one else is winning the MVP. He's going to have 4 of them, and now we're talking about legit GOAT status because he's going to win this one. And who is going to next year? If Ohtani gets injured? But by the way, Juan Soto just went 30 for 30. First player in the MLB this year to have 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases, and he's 30-1.
And he's still getting booed by the Mets.
Schwarber, right? It's insane. Schwarber, 25-1. So I mean, Ohtani is just so superior. And by the way, I don't even care about his pitching. I think his pitching is not really the reason that you win the MVP. It's his bat. It's absolutely insane what he does with that bat on that team. Very, very impressive. I, as a Mets fan, am a sad man. If history repeats itself, Ethan, what will happen over the next 3 weeks is the Mets will go on a horrible loss, losing 8 of 9 games to teams that they should beat. They will miss the playoffs by half a game, and I will be banging my head against the wall.
I mean, it's either that or they make the playoffs and lose in the first round. It's just classic Mets stuff,
Well, last year they didn't lose in the first round. They beat the Brewers in incredible fashion. Then they beat the Phillies, swept them. Phillies had no business playing against the Mets. And then they lost to the Dodgers because the Dodgers scored 10 runs a game. So it's just impossible. I don't know how any team is going to hang with the Dodgers. Maybe the Brewers can because they have their pitching is elite, but you have to pitch against Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman to start the game every game. And that is not fun. And what's really not fun is when the Dodgers 4-9 bats are hitting, because then it's impossible, right? And by the way, we talked about this on the show the other day. Freddie Freeman was the MVP of the World Series last year, which I think Ohtani getting a World Series MVP, even like another, just another piece for his legacy that is needed to say why this guy is the best player in baseball ever. Freddie Freeman is the MVP, and Shohei Ohtani didn't even have to, not to say he didn't show up. He hit some big doubles. He had some hits in the World Series, but Freeman hit a home run every single game. And he also had that grand slam, 3-2 count, bottom of the ninth. What you joke about as a kid in your backyard with a wiffle ball bat, he does that in real life. So Ohtani, clear-cut MVP, by the way. Judge on the other side of the ball, minus 4,000, so he's probably going to win it over the dumper. Listen, there's still 3 weeks. The odds can change. Paul Skeens, favorite to win the Cy Young, minus 20,000, not even close. Screwball on the other side in the American League, minus 2,000. Riddle me this. I had Screwball, Skeens. I drafted them 1-2, so I had both the Cy Young winners on my fantasy team. Traded for Sanchez, who's the number 2 favorite in the NL, and I had Logan Webb. So I had 4 of the top 6 pitchers, and I couldn't win a pitching category. So that's fantasy for you. Guys, I hope you're enjoying Dappz Live every single day. We're on 12 p.m. on TikTok. Remember the cookbook. Watch it on YouTube. Go subscribe to Dappz Sports on YouTube. We are producing the cookbook and general managers. So if you want to talk fantasy or you want to talk gambling, we have shows for you every single week. Don't forget to watch Up or Down, which we'll be releasing tomorrow. If you like sports cards, Ethan and I discuss them in great detail and explain to you how you can make money buying, selling, and trading sports cards. We hope you're enjoying the show. We will see you again tomorrow for Dappz Live, 12 p.m. Pacific time.